This is Bruce Boudreau, head coach of the Vancouver Canucks, and it's time for Clay's Canucks commentary live. Let's go with Clay right now.
Hey Canucks fans, and welcome to Clay's Canucks commentary live, presented to you by Van City Experts Real Estate. I am Canuck Clay, and this is indeed my Canucks take, all in one take. It is Thanksgiving Monday, October the 10th. So I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving with your loved ones. That's if you're in Canada, of course. If you're in the States or somewhere else, you're saying, well, I didn't know what you're talking about because we didn't have a Thanksgiving weekend. That's fine. That was directed to our Canadian viewers here. So thanks for being here. Type in the chat as always where you are watching from tonight. Always like to know that kind of stuff. And yeah, I am thrilled that you are here. Actually, I'm just looking at something right now. I haven't done this in about 4 days, so I just realized that I forgot to change one setting. So hopefully you can still see me and everything is working. But yeah, I think you can see me and hear me. And we got a lot to talk about tonight. We got a lot to talk about as the Canucks basically get set to kick off their season this Wednesday night against the Edmonton Oilers. So moderators and members, thank you. And to all of you, thank you for being here, no matter where you're watching from, whether you're in my beautiful neighborhood of Steveston, in Richmond, in the city, in the Lower Mainland, in the province, in the country, on the continent, or around the world. Thank you. I appreciate you, and I certainly do not take you for granted. So as we get started, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. That way you can leave messages in the chat. Like this video, like the fact that we are together. Also, as always, feel free to leave donations if you want. Feel free to gift memberships if you want, but the fact that you are here with me, that is the most important thing to me. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, thank you for your support there, and continue to help me by rating and reviewing the podcast. So we are at 50 people in here. There's only 8 likes. You guys can show me, don't show me a bit of love, but yeah, I think we can bump that up a little bit. But let's get going. And tonight, because I missed last night, which is usually my big show, the Sunday night one, tonight I will indeed do the game. So we will play Gordle, Ordle, and Wordle. We will do all of those games tonight because we did not get a chance to do them last night. I will go for the first 10 minutes or so, and then I will turn it over to all of you. And then what we will do is we will talk about the Canucks, and we will talk about expectations for this season. Now, I'm not going to talk about the Jason Dickinson trade, although that happened on Friday night. I'll talk about that very quickly. I'll talk about the Dickinson trade, but then more importantly, I'll talk about the rosters, because the last time I was with you was indeed Thursday night. Friday night, I was at the game, the Canucks 4-0 win over the Arizona Coyotes. That was a very bad Arizona Coyotes team, mind you. And then Saturday and Sunday, Friday and Saturday. Saturday, I don't usually do the show. Then yesterday I was at my wife's parents' place. Yeah, it's my in-laws' place for Thanksgiving, and of course, I didn't get back until 11:30. So I kind of knew that was going to happen, and that's why I didn't do the show yesterday. So we're here today. We got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and if you came over from Canucks After Dark, thank you as well. So Friday night, Jason Dickinson, it actually happened, the news broke mid-game in the first period, which is very rare that a trade gets announced while the team is playing. At least Dickinson wasn't playing. And we kind of knew something was up when Neil Zaman seemed to have taken the fourth line center spot from Jason Dickinson. Dickinson traded to the Chicago Blackhawks for Riley Stillman, a 24-year-old defenseman who will likely be a depth piece, but may have to play if the Canucks continue with their injury woes on the blue line. He's going to be tough to play against. He wants to be hard to play against. He always says he likes to get a piece of the other team's players. So that's all good stuff that you want to hear. Funny that he's practicing on a line with Kyle Burrows, D pairing, because they fought either last season or 2 seasons ago, pretty spirited scrap, but then he joked around saying that they just said, hey, what's up? And they're probably going to be best friends now that they're on the same team. So what we do is we get a rugged, pretty gritty third pairing defenseman. We also had to give up a second round pick in the 2024 draft. Thankfully, it's not the stacked 2023 draft, but a second round pick in the 2024 draft. And we do that, but we also get cap savings of $1.3 million for the next 2 years. And we also get cash savings of even more than that because Dickinson had one of those contracts where he was owed more cash than the salary cap implications. So all to say, the Canucks get Stillman, get some cap space, cap room, and get some cash savings, but they have to give up Jason Dickinson and a second round pick in 2024. Some people don't like that because they also gave up a third round pick to get Jason Dickinson at the time. And obviously his time in Vancouver was more disappointing than obviously people wanted or people expected. But you can't live in the past. You have to move forward. And that's what the Canucks will indeed be doing as they look ahead to this season. Now, let's talk about the roster, because the roster is very important to talk about. And I think if you follow, we kind of talked about this in Canucks After Dark too, so I don't want to repeat myself too much, but I recognize that not all of you were on Canucks After Dark. So what's interesting about this roster and the salary cap is the Canucks did something that I don't think any team has done in the history of the NHL, and that's basically they used every single dollar allocated to them. The salary cap is $82.5 million. And then if you have long-term injury reserve, so the easiest example is this. Michael Furlan's salary is 3.5. We have him for one more year. But you simply can't say, oh, he's on long-term injury reserve, therefore you add his 3.5 to the 82.5 and you get to 86 million. You can't just say that because you don't simply just get to add that money. Instead, what happens is the closer you are to the $82.5 million salary cap, then if you, in the best example, which the Canucks are at, if you're at 82.5 exactly to the dollar, then you can use all of Furlan's 3.5, so that makes 86 million. However, let's say all the Canucks roster was at 82 million and not 82.5. You add Furlan's 3.5 and now you're at 85.5 million. So you don't get, basically, or think of it the other way, you only get to use 3 million of Furlan's 3.5 million. So all to say, to maximize long-term injury reserve space, you want to get as close to 82.5 million, not including him, as you can. Well, the Canucks, amazingly, got to exactly $82.5 million. They got exactly to $82.5 million. I won't go over every single dollar amount, but here's what you need to know. The Canucks set a roster of 22 players. You have to do a minimum of 20. You can go up to 23. And remember, with 23 players, you take away the 2 goalies. That leaves 21 players. So it's always, is it going to be 14 forwards and 7 defensemen? Or is it going to be 13 forwards and 8 defensemen? Because you always have 1 or 2 extra of each. Well, the Canucks actually only named a roster of 22 players. So they have 13 forwards, 7 defensemen, and 2 goalies. So therefore, they're technically 1 short of that 23-man maximum. So listen to who's on the roster. Then I'll talk about who's not on the roster. And then I'll talk about why they did some of the things that they did. And then I'll turn it over to all of you. So the forwards in alphabetical order. No, actually, maybe we'll go with lines because that's easier to kind of envision. So, and including the practice lines that they did today. So Pearson, Miller, Hoglander, Podkolzin, Horvat, Garland, Kuzmenko, Pettersson, Klimovich, Joshua, Aman Lazar, and Brock Besser. So those are the 13 forwards. So a couple of things to notice there. Besser was named for the opening night roster, so they are hopeful that he will play on Wednesday night, which means he'll come back 2 weeks earlier than what they suspected. So that is awesome. That is awesome. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, well, why is Dmitry Klimovich there? Daniela Klimovich there and not Linus Karlsson? Isn't Karlsson the one that's played all the preseason games and that was at practice today? So the simple answer is yes, that is correct. They sent Karlsson down, what's called a paper transaction. They don't actually send him to Abbotsford, or if it used to be Utica, but they papered him down, meaning they said, okay, Karlsson's technically starting the season in Abbotsford. Klimovich is going to start the season in Vancouver, technically, because you save $30,000 by doing that. Their salary difference is $30,000 with Karlsson being cheap, Klimovich being cheaper than Karlsson. So remember that for a second. And then Besser as well. So there's your 13 forwards. So your defensemen on the roster, there are 7. There's Ekman Larsson, Pullman, Rathbone and Shen, newly acquired Stillman with Burles, and Quinn Hughes. So even though Quinn Hughes didn't practice, I always hate it when they have maintenance days, even before the season even starts. But apparently Quinn Hughes was out with the flu. Hopefully he'll be ready for Wednesday. So those are the 7 defensemen. So that means 3 players, and then of course Demko and Martin, but that we knew that ever since the summer. So there are 3 players on what's called the injured reserve list. Their salaries do count towards the salary cap. That is Ilya Mikheyev, who's probably a couple weeks away still. That is Travis Dermott, and that is Tyler Myers. So that's injured reserve. Yes, Mikheyev, Dermott, and Myers. Then there's long-term injury reserve, where you basically can use, as I mentioned right at the top, you can use as much of that as long as you're as close to right on $82.5 million. That's Michael Furlan. And then there's one interesting one, Phil DiGiuseppe, who has a lower body injury. They somehow classified it as opening roster injured reserve. Is that what it's called? Not opening roster. It is called... Oh, here. Sorry, not opening roster. Sorry, it's very important. I want to get this right. Where is it? Season opening. Not opening roster. Season opening injured reserve. SOIR. SWAR. So DiGiuseppe's on SWAR because he got hurt before training camp even started. And therefore, they can use this complicated formula of prorating his salary from last year. So this DiGiuseppe SWAR gave us $150,000 of cap savings. So you add it all up, the difference between Dickinson and Stillman, the difference between Klimovich and Karlsson, and Phil DiGiuseppe's SWAR, and then you get to exactly $82.5 million. Not $1 short, not $5 short, not $500,000 short. They got to 82.5 perfectly. It's the first time that it's happened in the history of the NHL. You add Furlan's $3.5 million because we can use every single dollar of the 3.5 because we got to 82.5, the salary cap ceiling, and now the Canucks basically have $86 million to play with, including Michael Furlan's 3.5. Finally, you're saying, well, does that mean then we're stuck with Klimovich and not Karlsson? No, you can, once the season starts, you can move DiGiuseppe's SWAR into long-term injury. I can't believe I'm saying it like that. SWAR into long-term injury reserve. And then with that $150,000 of savings, now that's more than enough to bring Karlsson back and send Klimovich down. Finally, injured reserve that Dermott, Mikheyev, and Myers are on, you only have to miss 7 calendar days, just 1 week. And you can retroactively set that to the day you got injured. So there's a chance, even though I don't think any of them are going to be ready, that those guys can play in the second game of the season. Maybe Mikheyev's ready for that, but I don't think the 2 defensemen will be. But then long-term injury reserve, as the name would suggest, it's longer. It's 24 calendar days that you have to miss and at least 10 NHL games. So obviously there are big implications by putting a player on long-term injury reserve. So that is great. Yes, kind of like Edmund said, that is awesome cap management by Alvin and Rutherford because you can't get any better with the players that we had. They got it to exactly $82.5 million. Kel says it is a cap management masterclass. I'll show you one more thing before I get to your questions. So then you look at the lines from practice today, especially if you're trying to figure out who's going to play with who. So this is how they lined up. Pearson, Miller, Hoglander, Podkolzin, Horvat, Garland, Kuzmenko, Pettersson, Karlsson. Remember, Karlsson got sent down today in that paper transaction, but he might play on Wednesday because they'll fix it on Wednesday. And then Joshua, Aman, and Lazar. So remember, Mikheyev's on injury reserve, so he won't be ready for Wednesday, but Besser likely will be. So I would put Besser up with Pearson and Miller. So this becomes Pearson, Miller, Besser. Then Karlsson comes out. Then you either move Hoglander down to play with P.D. Kuzmenko, Or you bring Podkolzin over there to play with Petey and Kuzmenko, and you put Hoglander up with Horvat and Garland. And then, of course, you have Oman, Lazar, and Joshua as your fourth line. Then if Hughes is ready to go, I think you simply put Hughes in place of Rathbone, so Hughes can play with Shen once again. And then you bring Rathbone down, and Rathbone-Burles becomes your third pairing. And then the newly acquired Riley Stillman would sit. So that's what I think the Canucks lines are going to look like this Wednesday. And as Steel Dog says, Emily Castonguay, one of our assistant GMs, has been working her butt off. Nicely done. And as Edmund said, she was indeed hired to help out with the cap. So I've got to the midway point already because I just blabbed for 10 minutes on salary cap, on rosters. So let's do our mid-show sponsor read. And this is where you can start typing your questions that I'll answer. Just tell me, I think the question I'm really interested is how interested do you get in how the salary cap actually works? How interested are you in everything that I just talked about for the past 10 minutes? Or are you like, no, Clay, I don't care. I just want to know who's playing on whose line and who's deep pairing. Let me know. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking, if you really get into all this cap gymnastics and the technicalities, or if, frankly, you couldn't care less. So first off, thanks to my lead sponsor, Van City Experts Real Estate. Contact Jason Lim and his team for all of your real estate needs. And I believe I saw Jason in the chat today, which is awesome. Thank you to Perform and Transform, personal training and weight loss. I had a good workout with them today at 6 p.m. You can sign up for a free 7-day trial with Coach Patrick. Use that link that you see flying across the screen, performandtransform.ca/Canuck Clay. Also, to Gassy Jack Art, maker of this fine artwork, to Monkey 9 Brewing, my eternal sponsor, and to Vessi Footwear, use the code Canuck Clay at checkout at vessi.ca and receive $15 off every pair of shoes that you buy. So sponsors, once again, thank you. Let's get to your questions for the next 15 minutes or so. Then we'll wrap up the podcast part. We'll play some games and we will get going. Harry says, what are you most hyped about the regular season? Our offense. I think our offense, that's what I'm most hyped about. And the fact that we hopefully can push for a playoff spot this year. Fangirl says she's not too interested, only care about the lines and who's playing. That's totally fair. Gio Reber says we care because it affects roster construction. Indeed it does. Ricky, good to see you at the game on Friday night, brother. Good evening. My expectations for the season are definitely a playoff spot and even a second round appearance. That's what I'm saying too, Ricky. I think we're going to finish third in the Pacific. We're going to knock off one Alberta team to get the second round, and then we might not knock off the second Alberta team. No, Brian, the Canucks likely won't fly to Edmonton until Tuesday or even game day Wednesday, but they certainly no need to go there. An hour flight, they certainly don't need to go there too early. Coach Robs likes all the cap talk. Lucas says this need to dive deep into how financials play out in the sports business. I agree. Gary says, Gary, I think that line, you're not going to see it because Bruce Boudreau likes to run his centers deep with Miller, Petey, and Horvat. Fillmore says, I hope Klimovich actually plays and gets paired with Pods and Kuzmenko. Well, you do need a center on that line, but I don't think Klimovich is ready. Hockey fan, when the Canucks start on their 5-game road trip, how many games will Martin get in that, and what team? My guess is he plays in the back-to-back, the second game. Otherwise, you can run Demko. The travel isn't too onerous once they get to the East Coast, so I think Martin gets one of the 5 games, and I think it's going to be against Columbus. Jasker says Dickinson on line with Bedard in a year. It could be, but do they start Connor Bedard on the 4th line? I'm not sure. Harry, will the Canucks go all the way? What standing will they land in? How many total? I've always said 3rd place. 98 points. Steel Dog, I would like to learn more about how the salary cap works, but you need hours to explain. Yes, especially the way I explain things with no visuals. Jaskrin, are we going to play the games twice since it's almost 12 a.m.? Are we going to play the games twice? No, only once, but we're going to play all 3 games. I'm not sure what that means. Canucks for Prez could care less about it. So not pointing you out, but it's funny. I think the commonly accepted saying is I could care less, But technically, I think the proper saying should be I couldn't care less. Because if you say I couldn't care less, it means you can't care any less about it. But if you say I could care less, it means you actually care a little bit. Because you could actually care less than you care. It's just not Prez, not you, but it's a pet peeve I have when people say I could care less when they mean to say I couldn't care less. I'm not saying that you say that. And Prez, you might not be able to care less about what I just said. Carol, I like everything that you talk about. I'm always listening to you, everything you say, because you always have great things to say. Why, thank you, Carol. That is, I'm going to use that in my next hype video. Jared, I think between 45 and 50 points for Kuzmenko, especially if he's going to play on PD's line and get some power play time. To do Demko's shutout against the Coyotes has to be the easiest shutout. Yes, 7 shots, ridiculous. And I could have probably saved those 7 shots. King RJ says, thank you to all the sponsors. You guys help our community a lot, and we really appreciate everything you guys do. Well said. Here's Gary's lines. PD, Miller, Kuzmenko, Pearson, Horvat, Besser, Hoglander, someone Garland, Aman, Joshua, and Lazar. Edmund says, Peter Lafayette gets fired as the first coach. Ooh, that's pretty bold. Rosiero, you want to see Canucks versus Kraken in the playoffs? That means both the teams would have to make it there. I think that's still a few years away, buddy. But we'll see. We'll see. Jamie, how are you? Do you think we'll make the playoffs? Yes. Will we win the cup? No. Adam, I like hearing about both cap and lines. Me too. Actually, the videos that do the best for me are anything that I talk about the roster. Whether it's lines, whether it's deep pairings, whether it's injuries, that's what people really love hearing about, which makes sense because it's physically what you can see and you can understand. Yeah, Japan, I saw that the Bullet Club back together, or the OC. I think it's awesome, and there are rumors that Gallows and Anderson were going to come back. Finn versus Boy. Are they saying his name Boy or Bowie? Lucas, Clay, for your boys, NHL 23 has officially dropped earlier this evening. Thank you for that. Yeah, I saw some people talking about that. Tanner, yeah, the Lotto line likely won't happen because Boudreaux likes Miller and PD as centers. Gary, what are your thoughts on Linus Karlsson as potentially a top 6 forward for this team? I don't see it just yet. He's got to pick up his foot speed and his decision making, but he could be a depth player going forward, but I don't see it happening right now. Funk you, do you think Alvin will trade a forward if we're not in a playoff spot in February? Yeah, if the right deal comes along, but we're a long way off, but I think they'd be open to something like that. Do I think the Canucks could beat Edmonton? Of course, I think they can beat them. I'm not sure if they will though. Do you think our PK will be better or at least average this season? It can't be any worse than last year. With Lazar, with McCabe, I think it will be better, Isaac. Jaskran, do you think LA fans need to come down as they might have overachieved last year? They are so cocky they think they're worthy. Well, we think that we're worthy of being top 3. I wouldn't call that cocky unless you've had bad experience, but they have reason to be excited about their team. But I do think that they might not be as good as some people think. Monday night is Diwali celebration at the game. Punjabi singer Jazzy B. Yes, that's awesome. That's the 24th game, right? Against Carolina. Harry, I have no thoughts on NHL 23 because I have not seen, read, or played it yet. Brian says, I don't care about the cap, not really good at math. That's totally fair. I think a lot of people will be like that. Ziz says, will Spencer Martin be a legit backup with a full season? I hope so. I pegged him at 25 to 27 games, so 1/3 of the games, maybe a bit less, but he's got to get 12 to 14 wins for us for sure. Who have more points, Bunting or Kuzmenko? Oh, I have Bunting in my fantasy pool. Well, I think it's going to be close. Let's go with Kuzi by a bit, but I think it's going to be very, very close. Will Johnny Canuck make an appearance this year, like in 2011? We will see. Good question. I don't know. When will Benning's fingerprints finally be off this team? Well, it's getting better with all the cap recapture coming off and dead contracts coming off. But he, in a good way, he also drafted Pettersson, he drafted Hughes, he drafted Demko, he drafted Hoglander, he drafted Podkolzin. So from that standpoint, there's still his influence on the team. Hey Marcus, for cap dump, why on earth did we trade Dickey rather than Pullman? Well, I think you have to. The other team may have wanted Dickinson and not Pullman. There's two sides to the trade, right? So tough to say. Paul, How many goals do you think Horvat will score? I'd say 30 on the nose. No, I just read about Extreme Rules, Jamie, and I think it's awesome that Wyatt is back. Which player were you most shocked made the team? Neil Zaman surprised me for sure. Yes, I'm in 3 hockey pools. One of them is fantasy keeper year-over-year salary cap. That one's a lot of fun, Jared. Then I'm in 4. Then I'm in 2 or 3 pick and pools, 2 pick and pools, and 1 auction pool, which is fun as well. JT, I was talking to my brother about this today. I think the Canucks, he thinks the Canucks are going to hold off on signing Horvat because they want to save money for Hsmfangirl. So that's going to be very tricky. Without making a major move, the Canucks simply won't have enough money to sign both. So maybe that's why we haven't seen a Horvat contract signed yet. It's not pronounced boy. It's, boy. Boy is what's bounces in the water. Boy, not boy, but it's not boy. Who knows what it is? Someone let me know. Less fin, more rip. Oh, the new Canucks dog. Yes. Who won the Carlson-Dahlin trade? Well, Carlson turns out to be anything for us, then I say we win it. Who do I think wins the cup? Either Colorado or Carolina. Prez, getting a bit sick of the Horvat extension talks. Getting to be like the Miller trade thing where they beat it to death every day. Would much rather than talk about possibly line combos much more. There we go. Another vote for line combos. Who do I think the defense pairings will be? If Hughes plays, which I sure hope he does, I think it's going to be Hughes, Shen, Oyel, Pullman, Rathbone, Burrows. Then when Dermott and Myers finally get healthy, I would go Oyel, Myers, Hughes, Shen, Rathbone, and Dermott. Or you try Oyel, Hughes, Rathbone, Dermott, Myers, and then Rathbone, Pullman. Jasper, if we don't make the playoffs, what direction do you see the management taking? Rebuild or retool? Definitely a retool. I don't think this management will be patient, and I don't think they're in the business of doing a full rebuild. If Demko has a poor year, Sebastian, we are hooped. Hockey fan, I mean, you guess that Martin will be playing most games on the road? Not necessarily. I think it really depends on number of back-to-backs as well. Nice to see prospect Connor Lockhart near top of scoring race. Yes. Kind of a name kind of under the radar a little bit for the Canucks for sure. Luke is playing on NHL 23 and adding teams in Kansas, Houston, Quebec, and Houston. Nice. Hockey fan, if the Canucks make the playoffs, who do you think they'll play in the first round? One of the 2 Alberta teams. Because I think Calgary, Edmonton are going to finish 1 and 2, whatever order you want to pick. Didn't Halak sign with another team? Someone will have to look that up. I don't know where Halak went, though, for sure. Prez Miller has looked quite bad this preseason. That's come from the biggest Miller fan. Hope he gets that hunger back after signing the big deal. Yeah, I think he's just pacing himself, quite frankly. What should the Canucks do to improve in their defense? Structure and better personnel. Will Travis Green get another NHL head coaching job? Coach Rob, I don't think so, or at least it's not going to happen relatively soon. Halak to the Rangers. Thank you, Prez. Funkyu says Pullman is the more valuable player right now due to how thin the right side is. Yeah, and I think management really wants to see him do well. Did Logan fight Roman yet? No, that's next month. Yes, and Rosero said November 5th. Prez Canucks should get that Zyhar guy from the Habs sometime down the road. I don't know anything about that. Gary, it's pronounced Bowie. Yeah, that makes sense. Bowie. Which forward from the 2010-2011 team would you add to this roster? If I only had to pick one, I would take Daniel Sedin. If I only had to pick one, or Ryan Kessler. Henrik is so good, of course, but we already have Petey and Miller and Horvat down the Miller. Kessler would bring a nice snarl and penalty killing presence. But Daniel would be a nice goal scorer on Miller or Petey's wing. So I go Daniel or Daniel or Kessler. How many shutouts for Martin? I think he gets 1 as a backup. 1. Steel dog in his name, gives a thumbs up to Rip. Am I disappointed that the Canucks didn't do enough to make their defense better? I think they tried, Bruce. I think they tried. So, yeah, you want them to do more, but I think they tried really hard. Yeah, Carlson, basically, Alex Burrows became Jonathan Dahlin. Jonathan Dahlin became Linus Karlsson. Horvat, I'm not sure. Boudreaux depends how well the season goes. Yeah, Kel, I thought Oyo had a strong season last season. The numbers weren't there, but I thought defensively he was good. Halak with the Rangers, thank you. Raspberry trade for Jonathan Dolan. Harry says, if the Canucks make it to the finals of the playoffs, who would you like to see the Canucks face? If they made it to the finals, I think Vancouver-Toronto would be fascinating. I think Vancouver-Tampa would be a lot of fun as well. Press scale 1 to 10, and your confidence of Carlson has to play several games in the top 6. Not very confident. 3, 2 or 3. I haven't seen enough to see that he'd be really good. Wins Martin's first game, game number 4 against Columbus. However you pronounce Bowie, it's pretty stupid. That's funny. Yeah, hockey fan agrees with me. 2010, you bring back Ehrhoff. Yeah, he'd be good. Right shot, D-man. Oh, it'd be awesome. What's a better team on paper, this team or the 2011 team? I think you got to go with 2011 simply because their defense was much, much stronger. Canucks unsung hero, Curtis Lazar. Jasker and I can confidently say if Carlson becomes anything, we won that trade because Darlene signed in the SHL for 5 years. That's true. For 2011 question, it's easy. Healthy Sammy Salo. Right, Andy? Yeah, I think someone asked me, I think the original question was, though, what forward would you bring on the team? But yes, Ehrhoff or Salo would be really good. Jason says, are we going to do a giveaway to kick off the season for Tuesday or Wednesday? Well, I'm not ready to do one tonight, Jay. So maybe tomorrow or Wednesday or later this week for sure. Funk you for a while last season. I'm pretty positive Oyo was among league leaders in one of the prominent defensive analytical stat, but don't ask me which one. Okay, that's fair. If the finals were Vancouver-Toronto, at least it would guarantee Canada's first cup. Yes, any 2 Canadian teams would guarantee that for sure. Val Matthews claimed off waivers by the Coyotes, the right shot. Why do you think Canucks didn't claim him? Yeah, Isaac, I'm not sure about very good defensemen. I think with all these guys, they're all kind of like third pairing, 7th or 8th defensemen. So maybe the Canucks were happy with who they had. Steel Dog would have brought back Rafi Torres. Rosiero says a Vancouver-Toronto final would be expensive on the second. Oh, yeah, for sure. Then be happy we have seasons, Rosiero. And Ricky says, I could bring back anyone, it would be Samuelson. Yes. Well, he is back right now in a coaching capacity. Oh, Steel Dog was joking about Rafi Torres, which makes more sense. Friends, it is 33 minutes in. I am going to wrap up the podcast part of this show. So I'll do the outro, the thank yous, the dad joke, and then we'll play the games and then we'll go from there. So thank you, everyone. I'm excited. We are 2 days away from the start of the regular season. Tomorrow night, I'll be streaming once again, and then it's my usual stream at 11, go to my church hour at 12. So thank you, everyone that was here today. Moderators, thank you for your good work. I appreciate you as always. Thank you, legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Justin Credible, and legendary Andrew Chang. I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate my Hall of Fame and franchise members as well. No donations tonight, but that's fine. And no, that's not a hint, but you do whatever you want to do. But thank you to everyone who has donated in the past, who at least considered donating tonight. And thank you to anyone who became new subscribers tonight. I actually picked up a lot of subscribers. It's kind of weird. Sometimes I pick up more subscribers when I don't do a video. I don't think that's the best thing. But yes, moving closer to 9,400, which is pretty exciting to see. So yes, moderators, members, and then everyone that's been in here today, thank you for helping me grow this channel. I appreciate your loyalty. And thank you once again to my lead sponsor, Perform and Transform. Van City Experts Real Estate is my lead sponsor. Now, thank you to Perform and Transform as well as my secondary sponsor. Okay, now that we've done all that, I hope that you do join me tomorrow night at 11 o'clock, same time, same place. Fangirls uses her member chat to say thank you for your streams, Clay. This is awesome. Fangirl, I appreciate your support as always and your loyalty. And Coach Rob says gives a $2 donation. Thank you. I always feel, I'll just say thank you. You don't have to, and I don't say that at the end of the streams to beg for donations. I say that because I always acknowledge people who donated, and then when I get to that part, I look to the left to see if there were any donations tonight. So thank you, Coach Rob. I appreciate your loyalty and your generosity as well. Okay, friends, as always, subscribe if you like to. Like this video if you like to. That's what it was. become a member or upgrade your membership if you like to. You can leave donations if you like to, gift memberships, and definitely thank you for all of your comments tonight. I will see you tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. So remember, I'll do my outro here. And then if you want to stick around to play the games that I usually play on Sunday night, if you want to stick around and play them tonight, we will certainly do so right after the outro. So as always, just before I go, I got to recognize Lucas coming in with a late $5 donation. Thank you, Lucas. My new 4 teams, the Hamilton Hammers, the Houston Chiefs, the Kansas City Mavericks, and the Quebec Armada. Wow. That's pretty impressive. Thank you, Lucas. I appreciate that very much. For real. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. And earlier, when Gail and I were driving around today, she said to me, "You really have no sense of direction, do you?" So then I said, "Well, where did that come from?" God bless. And go Canucks go. Booyah. We are back. We are going to play some games right now. So let's load up the first one. It is Ordle. Thank you for being here. If you're still sticking around, this is your bonus. We usually do this on Sunday nights, but we are doing it tonight. So let's get going. Ordle, we are trying to guess who this player is. And while I wait for the first guess, I think Rosario was answering President's question, who scores the first goal? Yeah, I predicted Hsmfangirl on Canucks After Dark, so that's who I'm sticking with. Jaskerin says Jack Quinn. Who is Jack Quinn? He's not even in there, so I can't guess him. I don't even know who Jack Quinn is. Sounds like an actor. Okay, Jake DeBrusk. We can do that one. So, we got the fact that he's Eastern Conference and he's not Canadian. So I need to take an Eastern, and he's not in Atlantic. So I need to take a Metro player, a Metro Division player who's not Canadian. That's who I'll take. A Metro Division player who is not Canadian. Metro. So Metro is the one with I had a brain fart. Atlantic Division. Oh, that's Boston, Buffalo, and all the Canadian teams. So Metro is New York, Pittsburgh, Philly, and those guys. Hey, Dan Carlo. Nice to see you. No, it's got to be Eastern Conference. Prez. It's got to be Eastern Conference. Who does Rocco Gudis play for? Doesn't Gudis play for... Oh, dang it. He's also in the Atlantic. But that wasn't a bad guess because, although actually maybe it was a bad guess. I forgot to point out that he's got to be younger than 25. And at least we got defenseman. So now I'm looking for a defenseman who plays in the Metropolitan Division. So actually that wasn't a bad guess. I need a defenseman who plays in the Metropolitan Division. And the Metro is, yes, the 3 New York teams, Pittsburgh, Philly, Washington, Columbus, and Carolina. So defenseman, Luke Hughes. He's not even in here yet because he hasn't played a game yet. Owen Power does play... No, Owen Power plays for Buffalo. He's in the Atlantic Division. We need a defenseman who's not Canadian who plays in the Metro. No, we need a defenseman. So it can't be Kuznetsov. A defenseman who plays in the Metro who's not Canadian. What do we got? No, Yossi plays in the Central with Nashville. Slavin Yeah, I think Slavin's older than 25, but we'll see. But at least he's a defenseman in. Excellent guess. Okay, Funk You. That was huge. Because, well, we knew it was Metro, actually, by process of elimination. So, actually, it was an okay guess. But we know it's a U.S.-born defenseman now who's younger than 25. And it's not Papa Shango. A U.S.-born defenseman in the Metro Division who is younger than 25. That's what we need. Oh yeah, I can try something here. I can try this one. Oh yeah, good. What do we got, you guys? Oh, Keandre Miller, who plays for. That was a very good guess. Excellent guess, Prez, because now we nailed Rangers. We nailed US born, younger than 22. I don't think Trouba is younger than 22, is he though? Trouba plays on the Rangers, but is he younger than 22? No, there's no way Trouba is younger than 22. So I'm looking for a New York Ranger defenseman, US born, who's younger than 21. Who's younger than 22. Oh, it's got to be that. Oh, I know who it is. I'll wait till I see it in there. Yes, Cole got it right. I'm pretty sure it's Brendan Schneider. Is that how you say? How do you pronounce? How do you say his first name? Braden Schneider. That looks like him. Oh, we got it wrong because he's Canadian. So who's their other young player, young defenseman? This one I don't know, you guys. I don't know the Rangers that well, so someone's going to have to tell me who their young defenseman is. Oh, of course. Of course it's Adam Fox. Oh, no, it's not because he's too old. Okay, so then it's... Oh, someone says Zach Jones. Okay, let's go Zach Jones then. Sorry, guys. I'm probably... Okay, so I think someone actually said Zach Jones a few guesses ago. We cut it a little close, but we still got it, and we're still at 100%. So good job. It is indeed Zach Jones, who apparently is 21 years old, left shot D from the U.S. Very good. Thank you, everyone. Let's go now to Gordle, which is a hockey player's name, and it is 6 letters today. So yes, good job, team. We got it right. Got a little bit iffy, but we did indeed get it right. And everyone, if you're typing it in after I say it, you wouldn't know if you're not refreshed. So make sure you're refreshed and that you're live as opposed to a few seconds behind. So Harry says Horvat. We'll use Horvat as a start. Now, actually, let's go Reeves. I like the use of more vowels right off the start. Okay, that was a bad guess. But no one's fault. Actually, Trouba doesn't work. So I'll take the next guess I see that has an A somewhere in it. Oh, I see what you guys were saying is... Oh, that's why someone was asking, can we play the games twice because of midnight? No, I have to get going, so we will still just play. Them once tonight. But great point, Coach Rob. I forgot about that. I see what you're saying. You guys can play on your own, but I won't play it here on the stream. Okay, what do we got here? I need a name that has an A in it, but not in that spot. And so it can't be Horvat because there's no V or R. Martin Woodwork. No, it won't work because there's an R there. Dakota Joshua Woodwork. And I like that because now we get the U and the O out there. Let's see what happens. Oh, we got skunked. Wow. Oh no, that was a bad guess actually because we had the S. Okay, so I think let's pick a name with an I in it as well with the A because we have 4 of the vowels down and we only have 1. Yeah, I forgot that about the S. So give me another name that has an A and an I in it, but I can't have, let's find a name with a T as well. I find like there could be a T. Martin. No, because they are. But I do like the TIN combination for sure. Yeah, we haven't used the common letters of T and N so far. No, can't you? You guys, it's got to be 6 letters. So it can't be Murray Baron because it doesn't have an O. It can't be Fiala because that's 5 letters. It can't be Martin because there's no R. No, and Turnbull's too long. Coach Rob, it's got to be 6 letters. No hint yet, fangirl. No hint yet. Not yet. Too early for a hint. Prez Pullman is too many letters. It's got to be 6 letters only. This is tricky. This is tricky. I'm trying to think of who this could be. And I don't mind doing like a throwaway guess where just to eliminate some letters. I'm going to type in Martin because it uses the T, the I, and the N, which we haven't used yet. So let's just do it. Holy smokes. There's no I either. So all we got out of that was the A is in the right spot now, and there's an N in it. So I will look for a guess that has an A in the second spot and an N somewhere. Panarin, no. Sandis. No, it can't be Sandis because there's no I. I don't even know who Sandis is. Sandine. Wait, that's weird. There could be more than one A, admittedly, too. Ranta? No, there's no T. Yeah, you're right. Sometimes what? Truba. Can't use Truba because there's no O, U, T, or R. Wolanin? No, there's no I. Oh, Wolanin's 7 letters. What if it's P-A-N? Fung Q comes in with Zygmunt Palffy. Oh, but there's no N. Okay, but the good thing is, Sandus eliminates the floor. The good thing that we got with the Palffy guess is we actually eliminated the Y, even though I should have had an N. But now we know there's an N and an L. So we got to really think here because we know there's an A right here. We know there's an L somewhere, and we know there's an N somewhere. So we only have 3 letters right now. A, L, and N. And we know the A is in the second spot. So let's see what kind of names. Anyone that starts with A? Wagner? No, there's no E. D-A. G-A? K-A. C-A. B-A. Can't be Darlene. Good guess. Because there's no I. And it doesn't end in an N. Unless it starts with the L. Lankow, Larkin. No, not Larkin. This is tough, you guys. N-A? A-A? No, I don't think there's Aaron. Well, this is tough. Okay, Fangirl, hang on. I may ask for that hint in a second. B-A? Oh, Gallant has two. Doesn't Gallant have two L's? Yeah, so it wouldn't. I saw. What is a Balzac? No, it can't be because the L's not there. Who's Cabana? Who's Gannon? I don't even know who half these guys are now. Are these actual guys? Solani is not spelled like that. Cabana, Bacchus, Gallant, Balzac, Dalian. Oh, this is tricky. I have a feeling it's Lad. No. Yep, Fangirl, give the hint. Try to do it without giving it away completely, though. But go ahead, Fangirl. Yeah, we've hit hint time for sure. Plays for San Jose. Okay, that's a fair hint. It's a little bit generous, but I think that's a good hint. No one look up San Jose roster, though. No one look it up. Yeah, very good. Kevin LeBlanc. So thank you for the hint, Fangirl, and Ivan. Thank you for stepping up. Very good. That was tricky. Very good. And we will end off with Wordle. We got it, but barely. I think some of you guys are behind because you're guessing after I've already said the answer, but that's okay. Finally, let's go to Wordle. Fangirl, I'm going to give you first guess because you gave the good hint that didn't give it away, but was fair. So, Fangirl, I will take your first hint for this. I'll give Fangirl 10 more seconds to type something in. We almost got skunked. Okay, I'll take the next word that has an E in it, but not in the last position. So I can't use break. I can't use visit. Can't use dream. Can't use catch. I'll take the next word in chat that I see that has an E in it. Or two E's, as Sidhu mentioned. Okay, not bad actually. Oh, I think I know what it is already. Because we know it starts with an E and we has a J. There's only one word I can think of actually. Let's just see who types it in first. Yes, Taylor, I agree with you. It's got to be this. I can't think of another word that has... Easy. Too smart. Too good. Very good, friends. Thank you. And especially Fangirl, thank you for that hint. Otherwise, we could have been here all night. So I know it's 12. I know we could just load up all the games again. But I do got to get some work done before. I didn't do enough over the weekend, so I got to do a couple things before I head into the office today. So friends, thanks for sticking around for the end of this, for playing the 3 games. And I hope that I do indeed see you Tuesday night. And once again, moderators, members, donors, subscribers, and sponsors, thanks to all of you as I wrap up right here and right now. And thanks, especially if you were here for Canucks After Dark. That is 2 hours of your time that I appreciate, and I know that you don't. I don't take for granted for sure. So thanks to everyone who's saying good game and good night in the chat, including Shannon's dog Charlie. Shannon, I'm glad you're feeling better, and thanks to everyone for being here. I hope you join me tomorrow night at 11 p.m. And tomorrow night will be basically like Christmas Eve for all of us. It'll be the night before the season starts. And by the way, the fact that you are here right now, and there's still 70 of you in here, 60 of you as I wrap up. Stay on top of my social media tomorrow, especially my Twitter, because I think there's going to be a couple announcements throughout the day. And then if they go as planned and what I'm going to be involved in next as my next project gets announced, then I can talk about it at the chat tomorrow night. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, friends, thanks again. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. And my other joke, I talked about Gail kind of making fun of my sense of direction. So then we got home for dinner, and she asked me if I could clear the kitchen table. Well, I had to get a running start, but I did make it. God bless, and go Canucks go. Booyah.